In 1839, China seized and destroyed 20,000 chests of an illegal drug that Britain had been shipping into its ports for decades. Britain's response was not to stop selling the drug. It sent warships instead and forced China by treaty to leave the trade open permanently. The arrangement underneath all of it was simple. Tea came out of China, silver came out of China, and the opium went in. To understand how the world's largest empire ended up in the drug business, you have to start somewhere much quieter. A cup of tea. A teacup and a pipe, and the same hand holding both. Britain had a tea problem and solved it by creating a drug problem. This was not really a war about morality, or even about empire. It was a balance of payments problem that happened to have a navy attached. Britain drank tea, and only China sold it. And China would accept nothing in payment for it, except solid, physical silver. In a single decade, the East India Company spent more than £19 million buying goods in China, and almost every penny of it was tea. The silver went out, and it did not come back. Britain was buying an addiction it could not afford, and the drain was getting worse. But the same company that was buying all that tea also happened to rule Bengal, and Bengal, if pushed, could be made to grow opium. Opium was not new to China. It had been there for centuries. What was new was a state-backed monopoly producing it at industrial scale. Selling it in China was illegal, so the company auctioned its opium in Calcutta and let private traders carry the cargo to the Chinese coast. Chinese buyers paid for that opium in silver, and the very same silver went straight back across the counter to buy tea. The circle had closed. 200 chests a year in the 1720s, 30,000 by 1836, 40,000 by 1838. By 1839, the arithmetic was complete. Opium sales were now paying for the entire British tea trade, all of it. Inside China, the effects were not abstract at all. Addiction spread through the coastal cities, and now it was Chinese silver flowing outward. So in 1839, the emperor sent a hardline commissioner named Lin Zexu down to Canton, with orders to shut the whole trade down. He confiscated around 20,000 chests of opium and destroyed them at Humen, in the open, in front of witnesses, over 3 weeks. He also wrote directly to Queen Victoria, asking how a country that banned opium at home could justify forcing it on somebody else. Britain's response did not defend the drug at all. It objected to the seizure of British property and the treatment of British subjects. That was the stated cause of the war: destroyed goods and insulted officials. What the goods actually were went politely unmentioned. In 1840, the fleet arrived. Steam warships and modern naval artillery against shore forts and wooden junks and a coastline. It was not close. Within 2 years, British ships were sitting at the mouth of the Grand Canal, and China asked for terms. The Treaty of Nanking took Hong Kong, forced open 5 ports, and imposed an indemnity of £21 million. And part of that indemnity was compensation for the opium Lin had destroyed. China was made to pay for the drugs it burned. 14 years later, a dispute over a ship gave Britain the opening for a second war, and this time France joined in. The Treaty of Tianjin opened 10 more ports, put foreign diplomats permanently in Beijing, and let foreigners travel freely through the interior. And it made opium legal. The thing Britain had never once admitted fighting for became a taxed, regulated, entirely lawful import. In 1860, after the negotiations collapsed, British and French troops burned the Emperor's summer palace to the ground. Over 3 days. China dates its century of humiliation from these 2 wars. That framing is China's own, and these treaties are why it still holds. So who sold it? The paper trail doesn't lead to a criminal gang. It leads to a chartered company, a navy, and an empire that wanted tea.